I could drop the work to you if you tryna meet now.
Yeah.
Green turn south, green turn south. That's an easy couple thousand if the week
you haven't heard my guy.
Green
This is
turn
new
south,
old.
green turn south. Just trying to beat the corner like a
Off and running.
green turn south. You could place your order at the green turn south, green turn south.
Oh, this is old because it's gotta be old. I remember that car used to have, unless he just wrote what he wrote about it.
It's an easy couple thousand if the week went down. Green turn south, green turn south.
Right, now I'm just thinking about it. I remember that car.
Yeah, look, hella paranoid, local corner boy, A Boogie transformed into a Boston George.
You know, like
Kick us off. Check
You know.
your ego. We back. Episode 3.
yo, everyone gotta check their ego at one point in time. You know, we're back episode 3. We're back to, you know, spread the word. You know what I mean? Just give the opinions of people in our generation. You know, just spreading the word.
Yeah,
If you're rocking with it, you're rocking with it. If you're not, then you know what I mean. That's on you. This is opinions of just some of us who feel a certain way, and you know what I mean. Questions were asked, and you know we're here to answer. You know, so starting off, we got Nesso in the building.
What's good? Back again. You already know.
Yes, sir. We got BK in the building.
Hey.
You know what I mean? You got myself, Xavier, just, you know, live and direct with it. You know what I mean?
Double D back from vacation.
Just so you guys are
I'm a
aware.
busy man. Don't get it twisted. I'm
Just so
busy.
you're aware, the man came back with an iPhone 11.
Jeez.
Man went on vacation second weekend.
Sheesh.
I don't know who he's talking to get this
Keep that on the
vacation
low,
time.
though, eh? Keep that on the low.
Man's fresh, eh? Man's fresh. But we're here back again. You know what I mean? You know, just to kick us off right now, just to you know, obviously we have new faces. So. You know, we have a guest here, BK. You know, we chose to, you know, bring someone on that could, you know, speak from the other side of things. You know what I mean? A lot of time you're giving the opinion and the voice from our side. But again, we try to flip it up, try to make things new for everybody. But so we got a fresh face. We got BK in the building. Just a little bit of background on what BK does. You know, we thought she was a good mix for what we're doing right now.
Sorry, guys.
Jeez.
BK, first time I said this was going on here.
Sorry. Put that
Alright.
on silent.
So yeah, we got BK. You know, just some of the background on what she does. She used to host a page where she used to create a space for women to come together and share their experiences. You know, some of the women feel that they're going through an isolated incident where it's only happening to them. You know, last year she did a phenomenal thing. She had a page, like I said, she was hosting questions, and if you have her on Instagram or IG, you know who she is, you see some of the questions. Like sometimes I read it, I'm like, yo, this girl's actually some deep ass questions, you know what I mean? And then she would post some responses and stuff like that. So, you know, no other than BK, if you want to share a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so hey guys, my name is BK. If you know me well, you can call me BK. If not, then
Off that.
you're not even getting the gubby, you know? But yeah, so like Kevin said, basically 2 years ago I started like a page where I kind of wanted to just bring women together to kind of like talk about some things that they're going through, because I felt like I was going through a lot, and I'm like, I wonder if other people are going through it too. So I kind of started off as a page. I hosted like events, you know, talking about certain topics, like, you know, dealing with heartbreak, you know, talking about like, is love unconditional, all those good things. But yeah, that's basically what I did. I'm taking a step back because we're in COVID, and like I just don't feel like I'm there mentally right now, so I'm just trying to get back into it, taking some time and talking with these lovely guys, getting inspired, and I'll be back in February. But yeah, that's just kind of about me.
So for sure, if you feel like you're on your own, we'll definitely drop her handle at the bottom so you can see exactly what she's rocking with and how she's moving.
I was fortunate to have a conversation with BK, like, what was it, like 2 weeks ago? Very inspiring conversation. I'm glad that we got to chop it up like that. It's been a while. When she was writing all those questions on Instagram, I was one of the main people answering that because, you know, I really like those type of topics. So we're really glad that she was able to pull up today and come through.
Thanks
so
for
thank you for that.
having me.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. So, you know, we're going to jump right into it, man. You know, we were just chopping it up before we started shooting, but, you know, we just had conversations. And, you know, while these two were talking, I'm just thinking to myself, is like, you know, today's day and age, you know, there's a lot of things we do back then that you can't get away with today. So I want to talk about, like, socially, how the time period we're in right now, how it socially has affected relationships versus in the past. Like, what kind of things do you think were acceptable back then, but now socially, in this day and age, may not fly? Have you guys had any experiences or something like that?
Well, I was just, like, we were just talking about like when I used to live back in Scarborough, like when I was like young, like the kids used to go to this lady's house and like buy candy from her for like 25 cents and stuff like that. And like I was just thinking, like in today's day and age, like you can't pull up to a lady's house and just buy candy randomly. Like that would not be accepted. But it's just crazy how the simple things in life back then were just simple things, and now like everything's looked at differently. Everyone has an opinion about something. You know, everyone has to be like socially correct or politically correct without, so you don't offend somebody. So it's just crazy to see how things have changed in like 10 years. It's only been like 10 years.
For sure.
I would also say like a lot of things that used to be private, it's no longer private, obviously, because of social media. So that's a main thing that, you know, being in a relationship that you got to watch out for. The whole Instagram thing, like I've had this conversation, we've all had this conversation, just how men and women approach Instagram, specifically like when it comes to likes and comments and stuff like that, and how that type of realm kind of it gets very easily manipulated. Women tend to look at, like, if you comment on somebody's picture, they tend to take that to heart and might not necessarily agree with you doing that. They might look at it like you're cheating or something like that. Men, it's the same way. So yeah, that's just like what I think in regards to that.
Wait, can I just hop on something for a second? Because I actually had a question that I was going to ask, so this is perfect that you said it. So what do you, when a girl sends you the eye emoji, what do you think?
Like the two eyes?
Yeah, the two eyes. Like,
Just got to make sure it wasn't the one eye. It was the two eyes. It was the two eyes.
Yeah, like the two eye emoji. What do you automatically assume she's implying when she sends that?
She sees you.
Right?
She sees you.
So this is the thing. He posted something that said, like, girl, like, it was like, oh, girls like basically like, or like, oh, send me a picture of you jerking, or girls like it when guys send videos of them jerking off. There's like a meme or something, like girls like guys jerking off kind of thing or whatever. So then I sent the eye emoji. You know? Does that mean, yeah, send me a video? I'm just responding to your story. It wasn't even like your dick was there. It was just, oh, like, it was just me responding to your story with the eye emojis. Just like, oh, yeah, eh?
That's wild.
Yeah, it wasn't an actual thing.
Communication.
It's
Communication.
dead.
You could have just been like, nah, I'm not with all of that.
But no,
you're right. You're 100% right. That does not give him permission to be sending you those type of things.
Yeah.
But it doesn't not give him permission to send you those type of things.
But then again, that just goes back to, like, again, people just think that they could just do whatever they want because of, like, I don't know, social media just gives people these batteries in their back.
That's a
they
fact.
can do anything.
That's a fact. But again, like what I was saying before, because you said you didn't take it in. Let me play devil's advocate. If we reverse things now, and you had sent him a picture of your ass, and then you sent him a message saying, "Do you want to see more?" and he sent the eyes, what would you think that implies?
That he wants to see more, like. But it's like context too and perspective, I feel like, because like that's why text these days get misconstrued, you know. Like K, the word K is just taken so offensively.
That's murder.
Like you say K and like you're being straight disrespectful when like literally it's a letter. Like sometimes it's
you gotta
just
drop the 2 Ks.
Yeah,
the KK.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
if you do 2 Ks, then you're in a good mood. If you do 1 K, then you're just like you're being hella disrespectful.
I don't think so necessarily. I think if you don't normally text like that,
okay, yeah,
then the person you're texting is obviously gonna be like, all right, something's weird here. Because I've even been told that about like punctuation. When you use a period, like when I text, most of the time I'll use an exclamation mark.
Same.
Sometimes I'll just use a period. I feel like, let me just be grammatically correct. And a girl might take that wrong. Like, yo, why are you using a period? You normally text like this, right? So,
damn.
It's crazy. It's crazy what this social media thing has done to us as people, and especially the couples. Couples got to be more aware of what they're doing. Because your significant other's watching, and if you guys don't have communication, like if you guys really don't know each other, you guys really aren't secure with each other, then this social media thing will blow up your relationship real quick.
I just want to go back to the original question where it's like, a lot of people who have social media, when they get into arguments with their significant other, they'll do the most on social media. They'll post certain memes, they'll post certain quotes. I feel like, listen, if you respect this individual, save that shit for behind the camera. You don't have to get in front of the social media and post left, right, center all these memes of how girls are the most solid ever. Like, everyone on social media understands you're upset about something. Like, you don't have to, if you really have respect for that individual, just save that shit, man. That shit's so petty. That shit's so high school, man. Like, we're past that. You know, I don't know how. Listen, I know how old I am, and I like that shit is so like high school, man. My nephew does that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, that, we're so past that. Like, just grow up. If you got a problem, say it to his face. Like, you know, get on the phone. Let's chop it up. But if you're gonna get on the social media and just start posting and retagging and my bad, like retweeting and a whole bunch of this other nonsense, save it, man. Save it. If you actually cherish this person, you want to make things work. Save it for behind the scenes, man. Don't take it to social media to kind of, you know, share your emotions or share your feelings. You might as well just say it yourself. Like, everybody on social media understands what kind of mood of relationship you're in, or what, you know, what type of time it is. So I just wanted to share that my answer towards that question. But you know, social media is definitely dangerous. You know, this social day and age that we're in, a lot of people they don't understand the effects of, you know, some of those things they do, or maybe they do and they do it on purpose. But I can tell you, for majority of us on social media, we understand what's going on. We understand what's going on.
So yeah, when you say you're past that, where are you talking from? You're talking from a perspective of an older person, because you say your nephew does that. So you're saying you're past that. So you're saying, yeah, people that are younger can do that, but people that are older in our bracket, let's say like in the 20s or something. What's that?
Yeah, in the older. So when I say my nephew, I don't even say I'm only saying my nephew because he represents an age group. My nephew per se does not do that kind of stuff, because I talk to him. But the age group he's in, the people he hangs around, they do stuff like that where, like, you know, 15, 16, 17, maybe 18. You know what I mean? That day and age, you know, that age, those kids kind of handle themselves that way. If you're an adult...
Passive-aggressive type of attitudes.
Yo, let's work on it, man.
Mannerisms.
Let's work on it. Let's actually get in a conversation. Let's have a humble conversation without the emotion behind it. But yeah, man, I just want to share my answer on what I feel of social media and social... You know, how the social aspect of today's day and age affects your relationship.
Question.
Be comfortable in that skin.
Just to jump back, so you were talking about like how guys go through their own stuff too. So how do guys deal with heartbreak?
It's fun.
Besides laying under another woman.
Hurt people. That's it.
But what do you guys do? Because like, okay, me, like with my heartbreak, like I cried every day to work, cried every day on my way home, and like I was just very big on like trying to just get over it, like, because I hate that feeling of like, I'm not gonna say like being weak, but I just hate feeling outside of myself. Like, I'm not someone that cries all the time and that's like, you know, just like super sad and stuff. So like I was just trying so hard to like just get out of that feeling. So I was just telling myself like, snap out of it, like get up, like what are you doing, like, you know what I mean, which obviously wasn't good in the long run, because fast forward a few months later, I'm there crying on the floor because I wasn't dealing with my stuff. But like, how do guys deal with it? Because I know most, like, on social media or the media will be like, yeah, guys just go like have sex with other girls and then they get over it.
I'm glad you said that.
I just feel like maybe that is a thing, but obviously you guys have feelings too. So like, how do you guys get over your heartbreak? Like, so, what are some things that you do?
I think the process, to be honest, isn't much different than what you girls go through.
Oh, okay.
I think the only difference is that, like you said, the media plays a big role in it. The media makes it seem like as men, we're not supposed to show that emotion.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? We're not supposed to go down that route. We got to bury it. We got to, you know, fuck this bitch and just keep it moving. But we hurt the same way. Some of us may cry. I'm not really too on that side with it. But, you know, that's a thing. That's a form of letting emotion out.
Do you talk to your boys about it? Like, that's the thing. Like, I feel like guys don't talk to their boys.
That's the thing. That's the media.
That's the pride and...
Yeah.
That's part of it. I don't even think it's so much pride. I think it's just, as men, we feel like we have to deal with this type of thing ourselves.
Yeah.
When in actuality, we really don't, because everybody's going through this.
Yeah.
Everybody in this room has gone through heartbreak. Everybody's been hurt. Everyone's probably hurt somebody. So we all go through the same things. It's just the media portrays it like, as women, when you guys get hurt, y'all get together, y'all drink wine, y'all talk about your feelings.
Have a little bit of cheese.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Back to that whole like fairy tale type of thing. But with us, it's like, nah, like, you're a G, you gotta hold it down, push it down, suppress it, and keep moving. And when we do that,
that's hurtful, man.
It hurts us, because we don't express our emotions and we don't grow as people. And then what happens is we end up hurting other people who don't deserve it. And then those people who have been hurt, they end up hurting other people because you hurt them. And it's just a vicious cycle, you know what I mean? So, but it shouldn't be that different. We should get together. I think that was one of the things with this podcast, not necessarily touching on just, relationship and heartbreaks and stuff, but just being able to come into a space and talk about shit that we're all going through, because we're all about to embark on a whole new era in our lives. When we hit 30, we're all like in our late 20s now. When we hit 30, and we've all realized, we got to approach life differently. We can't be wasting time the way we used to. And overall, like, our communication skills have to get better on every single level. You know what I mean? Especially when it comes to relationships. That is what a relationship is.
When people ultimately get hurt, males, for example, we go out and find a new woman to be with.
Try to, anyways.
Some of us succeed and some of us don't. But regardless of the fact, I think that doesn't ultimately, fix internal problems. The way you're feeling, the way your emotions are. That does code it up, and then with your homeboys, you can give a pound and I did this and this. Yeah, but I think as a human being, as your heart, if you love somebody, that still doesn't change. That still doesn't change anything. You know what I mean? So, again, for us guys, I feel like, we don't talk about, some of the stuff that hurts us. You know what I mean? We take it, like Ness said, we take it on the chin and pause. We take it as a man. We just have to hold that L and we keep it pushing. Ultimately, just sitting on that anger, sitting on that buildup, and then not being able to, release that tension within ourselves. So I've caught myself doing it a couple times. You know what I mean? But I've found different ways of relieving tension. And I don't mean in a weird-ass way. I mean in a real way where I can, you know what I mean? Just, I've let go of that thought. I've let go of that emotion that came with that thought. That way I'm not acting based on what happened to me. I've let go of all that stuff. So, again, when I'm speaking like this, I hope you guys can see where I'm coming from rather than just taking it at the face value. I guess you guys can hear, and actually comprehend, what I'm talking about, because I promise you, if you can do that, I promise you'll get a lot further.
That's a fact. You got to learn to let go, but in order for that to happen, you got to heal first. Everybody's healing process is different, so just make sure you undergo that, and then keep it pushing after that.
I got another one actually. Now that we're on the topic of being hurt and stuff like that, when is a good point in time where you should A, move on, and 2, let go? I want to break this down exactly what I mean by move on and let go. Move on is understanding that your situationship that you're in right now is not working, and you want to move on from it. And then letting go is letting go in those feelings attached to that person. So you can move on from someone but still have those those feelings. But when do you ultimately move on from your relationship, and 2, let go of those feelings? Because I think it's for myself and being in a situation, you know what I mean? It's again, they're 2 different questions.
So me personally, what I learned through my heartbreak is that you never really move on. I feel like society is like, oh yeah, move on. So when people would say you got to pick a point in time where you're gonna move on. I used to tell them you're never really gonna move on. Those emotions just don't affect you the way that they used to affect you, because at the end of the day, that person is always gonna be a part of your life. You just learn to live with those feelings differently. Because, you're not just going to wake up one morning and just move on from what happened. That, I feel like moving on is such, a wrong term to use, because, again, you're not moving on from anything. You're just evolving. Those feelings that you once had for that individual is just evolved into something different. So, I don't love you anymore, but maybe and I'm not moving on from what we have. I'm just evolving from the way those feelings are, what that situation made me feel. You know what I mean? So I personally try not to tell people move on, because you're never really gonna move on. You could see even our parents. I'm sure your parents their first boyfriends, their first girlfriends or whatever. You know what I mean? They still have memories or feelings towards those relationships. So I feel we as humans we don't move on. We just evolve, and those situations or those relationships just don't affect us the way they once did. Because it's all a journey. It's an evolving process. So. And even letting go. I read a book called The Four Agreements. I forget the guy that wrote it, but everyone should read it because it's amazing and it helps you throughout different scenarios in your life. But
Can we name drop the author?
I forget who wrote it.
Four Agreements?
The Four Agreements. If you Google it, like everyone should have this book because what they say is like, yo, people don't make you feel anyway. Like when people are just like, yo, you made me feel this. No, I didn't make you feel anything. I did something and you felt a way about it. And also, it's like anything that anybody does has nothing to do with you and everything to do with them, even if it's good or bad. You know, so like when a man cheats, like it has nothing to do with you at all. Even if you are lacking in the relationship or you know, he's feeling a type of way about things that you're doing, it has nothing to do with you. It's everything to do with that individual. So I just feel like the whole moving on and letting go thing, it's like, it's just things that people just say to make you feel better. But if you're really in touch with yourself and you're very self-aware, you're not trying to move on. You're not trying to let go. The whole point of it is just trying to understand why you did what you did, why you feel the way you feel, and start to evolve from those feelings and start to evolve from that individual. Because that individual is always going to be a part of your life because you are where you are today because of that person. So why would you want to move on from something or someone that is basically making you who you are? You know what I mean? Even if they did you quote unquote dirty, or, you know, like I feel like we're just evolving, we're just learning, you know, like I think we should be using words like that, because moving on just is just saying like forget about it. But that's when you get to a place where you're literally crying on the floor because you're just forgetting about it, you're letting it go, you're moving on, you're putting it on the back burner. So I don't know. That's
good. You have a couple things I want to go back to, but you want to answer that?
No. Can you go? I'm still I'm still processing that. You know what I mean? I'm still processing that.
So, you know, and I'm gonna oppose some of the things you said. Because yes, I'm gonna say yes. You need to move on. If you know your relationship is toxic, yeah, it's time to move on. If you know that's changing your character, yeah, it's time to move on. If you find yourself acting that outside of the person who you are, yeah, it's time to hit road. Yeah, letting go. If you feel like, you know, letting go now, you could still have, you know, feelings for the individual even though you've moved on from a relationship, but you got to ultimately know that having those feelings and still manifesting those feelings for that individual, knowing that you guys are no longer together because, you know, whatever happened, still holding on to those feelings, thinking that you could get back and rekindle this relationship, yes, it's going to hurt you. Because all you're doing is every day you're thinking about this person. Every day you're beating yourself against your head. Every day you're going home thinking about, oh man, I used to, you know what I mean? Yes, there's a time where you just got to understand that it's, I'm over this, you know what I mean? I'm on to different things, you know what I mean? I'm on to, you know, again, you could call it evolving if you want to, absolutely. I think that you got to understand where your feelings and where your head's at, and just, you know, it's time to let go of these feelings. I can no longer hold feelings for you because I'm just not interested in the person you are. You know what I'm saying? I'm not really a fan of the person you are, or this relationship's not working for me. I'm now gonna step outside this relationship and I'm gonna, you know, let's let go of this relationship, and then ultimately I'm gonna move towards letting my feelings go for you because I no longer want to be involved in you. So yes, as far as, you know, manifesting, and there's one thing you said about the 4 agreements that I want to kind of go back to. Everything about yourself, you know what I mean? When you said that, that's absolutely true, and I'm gonna say that,
with that
because your feeling that you were getting, that caused you to make a decision that ultimately affected your partner. So yes, if you're not feeling right, or you feel like, let's use a, you know, corny, layman example. If you feel like your girlfriend is not, you know, what she is, or she's not doing exactly what she's supposed to do, you're ultimately going to step out of that relationship to go hunt for a feeling, you know what I mean? Because you feel inside that your girlfriend doesn't meet your expectations. So you're going to step outside your relationship to do, you know, X, Y, Z. So yeah, I can agree with that, you know, because I feel like ultimately everything you do is because of, you're not reaching an inside goal. You're not reaching that inner peace with yourself. You're not reaching that fulfillment is the word I'm looking for. You're not reaching that fulfillment in yourself with the person you're with, so now you're going to move outside. So yeah, talking about that, that's a big question, you know what I mean? That's a big, you know, thing to decide and think about. And for whoever challenges, I mean, fulfill, go ahead. I'm fine with it. But ultimately, I think if you think a little bit deeper and you think about your actions and thoughts and why you do certain things, I think you could kind of reach the same answer and level of thinking that I'm at. Not to say I'm thinking higher than you. Maybe I'll be thinking, you know, left or right. But again, I'm just hoping that you can think about your actions and you can kind of align yourself with some of my thoughts.
I agree with that, man. A lot of what you said too both you guys. Key component is just managing your emotions. You got to learn how to do that. You got to learn specifically what emotions you're dealing with and what you're going through. Like when a relationship's ending, or if somebody did you dirty in a certain situation, a lot of the times as men, like we say, you know, she did me wrong, she did me this, but you're not really processing all the other emotions that you're probably going through. You know what I mean? You're not just processing hurt or anger. You, in a lot of cases, you might be processing jealousy. You might be processing anxiety. You might be processing, you know, fear. And those are the emotions that we don't really talk about, especially like exiting a relationship. But all of those things are like crucial to understanding not just who you are as a person, but where you want to go forward. And going forward, if you are looking for another relationship, it'll help you select a partner better off of knowing what type of emotions that you're going into that relationship with at that time. But like, again, I said this earlier, I think it's always a good idea to heal from a relationship. You got to take that time. It's different for everybody. Some people it might take 2 months, some people it might take 5 months, some people it might take a year. But you always got to take that time to heal yourself, heal your mind, learn something new, because that time period where you're going through that hurt, you're going through that pain, you're going through the jealousy, anxiety, all of that stuff, that's when you're really going to learn who you are as a person. If you take the time and learn exactly why you're experiencing those things and why your relationship ultimately could have crumbled.
So can I cut you off here and say, you know, for the people who do jump into one relationship and then you know 2 weeks later in another one, because I've seen it happen over and over again. I'm just like, how the heck did you go from one relationship and a month later you're in another one? It just you know what I mean? So what kind of things do you do to heal yourself when you feel like something didn't work out the way you wanted to? How do you heal yourself? What kind of things do you involve yourself in? Because you said learn something new. I think that's a phenomenal thing. Yeah. Absolutely. But what other things?
I attack my body. I attack my mind. Like I love to read.
So you just punish your body. You just pick up weights and you're just in there.
No, not that. But you know, when you develop your mind and you become mentally stronger, you realize that your mind is attached to your body. So you're gonna want your body stronger as well, right? So they correspond with each other. But that's the approach that I've always taken. I strengthen my mind, I strengthen my body. I'll try to travel. I'll try to talk to other people that may have gone through a similar situation. I just reflect too. Like I do a lot of reflecting. I'm a very introverted type of person, right? Which in a lot of cases has helped me, in a lot of cases it's hindered me. But in terms of relationships and exiting relationships, I think it's always helped me, because it's helped me to. Sometimes you just gotta sit your ass down. You know what I mean? You just gotta sit your ass down and just think and process things. But for me, yeah, it's always a spiritual journey, it's a mental journey, and then it's a physical journey. And that's
interesting. It's interesting you say that. What about you?
I like to write. I do a lot of journaling, to be honest, because I feel like the reason why a lot of us suffer from anxiety and depression is because we're just in our head all the time. We're just rethinking scenarios over and over and over again. But once you put like pen to paper and get whatever's going on in your head out on paper, it makes things a little bit easier, and you can kind of process your thoughts better, and you can kind of pinpoint, oh, like sometimes you don't even realize, you're like, oh, okay, that's why I'm stressing, or that's why I'm feeling weird. And yeah,
I just want to cut you off now and say journaling is a major. I just want to stay on this point for a second because you said that, and I actually, as corny as it sounds, I'm like, yo, maybe I should write down my day-to-day things. I've seen something on YouTube where they just write down day-to-day, you know, exactly. So journaling, how has that helped you?
Oh, I've been doing it for 2 years. It's helped me because I started it back in 2018, and it actually helped me realize that I haven't ever really processed my grandma's death. So basically my grandma passed away, whatever, back in 2018, and like I started journaling, and like even now I haven't really processed it, but once I was like writing about it, I'm like, yo, like I'm just, you know, because like when people die, we all cry and we're like, yo, R.I.P., but like we just go right back into life. We don't really grieve, you know?
Just press that resume button.
Yeah, you're just like, all right, like we gotta, like you said, move on. And like journaling really helped me realize, like, yo, I be going through some traumatic things, and I don't take in how traumatic they are until I write it on paper. Or like my body will just feel off and I'm feeling anxious and I don't know why I'm anxious, and then I really write it down. I'm like, oh, this is what's been bothering me subconsciously. So I do a lot of journaling, and I work out. Like, working out is like my release. Like, I like to work out a lot. And then just talking, like having conversations like this, like just being open and like talking. I feel like at the end of the day, my biggest thing is like, I like to put myself in scenarios that make me feel uncomfortable, because great things happen when you're uncomfortable, you know? So like, even like going to therapy, it took me a couple years to start going to therapy, but like, I'm like, I need to really understand myself as an individual, so I need to do therapy. And it's not the nicest thing to be doing, because like, you know, you're telling someone random, you're being vulnerable with somebody that you don't know. But I'm like, if I don't make myself feel uncomfortable right now, how am I going to change as an individual? How am I going to grow? So those are the things that help me heal, you know, just really facing my shit. Even if I don't want to hear about it, I have to. Mom was just going to say the same.
School needs a course for this. Managing emotions and how to deal with that. They really need to implement that somehow.
It's good that we asked this question, because now, you know, I truly feel like a lot of people, they don't kind of go through this process. And if they do, you know, I mean, it's not to a level where it's effective. And maybe it's not effective for several different reasons. But I really think that, you know, managing your body, like you said, you know, writing things down, like you said, BK, I feel like those type of things, those are definitely powerful. Like, you know, if you can write down, even for example, artists, you know, they write down their lyrics on a piece of paper, and then they spit into a mic, and it comes out on a record. Again, you can ultimately see the point in time where they're in. A lot of things I talk about right now is you get to see, you know, certain artists 10 years ago, what kind of music they're putting out. And when they grow up to now, they're in their 30s, you can see their message now. You can see how they've grown as an individual. So again, to relate to, you know, what you said first with the journalism and pen and paper, absolutely. When you talk about your body, absolutely. When you strengthen those things, I think better things happen. You're working on yourself.
I feel like now is the perfect time for people to be doing that, especially with COVID. Like, everyone's like complaining, like, yeah, it sucks that we can't go and stuff like that, but like, yo, take this time. The whole world is on pause, because even with my heartbreak, like, I literally would, like, soon as COVID started, like, I was in Colombia, and I'm like, yo, honestly, I need to go home and just start crying and healing, because if I don't like really face this heartbreak, like, it's gonna eat me alive. And I'm glad that I went through a heartbreak in COVID, because even me just being so independent, I know I'd be throwing myself into stuff. I'd be going to work, going to this event, working out, blah 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 blah, and like 2 years later I'm gonna just like burn out because I'm not dealing with my stuff. And like, I'm grateful for COVID. I feel like it's taught me so much about myself. It's given me time to really just have these conversations, like, just talk. Like, all I've been doing is talking, because there's literally nothing to do. Like, and if you're in a relationship in COVID, like, this is your time. Like, you'll know if you're meant to be with this person or not. Because if you can't sit in a room with your partner and literally just talk about any and everything, they're not the one for you. Like, so if you can quarantine with your partner, I definitely suggest it, because you'll just find out so much stuff about yourself, so much stuff about that individual. Like, I just think, like you said, sometimes you just have to sit down and literally just like talk, or like be alone, or just really take in what's happening. I think this is the perfect time to really do that, because there's nothing going on, nothing distracting you from your insecurities or your triggers or your traumas. And that's why everyone's struggling with like mental health issues right now, and like people are divorcing, and like people that thought they were going to be together for 20 years aren't together, because realistically you don't like your partner.
Facts.
Nobody knows their partner.